Good morning, welcome back to another video. Today got a little bit more time before I hit the airport, but I want to do a little comparison video for you guys on the GST and the GSX. So we'll start off with some cold starts. Alright, so let's start with the basics. So this is a 95 Mitsubishi Eclipse. This is a 99 Mitsubishi Eclipse. So this, aside from like the wide stuff, this is a 2GB. So like these side skirts, this front bumper, headlights, rear bumper, tail lights, high rise, that's all stock for this. This one I did a 2GB swap on. So this actually looked like, I guess we only have Talons here. This is a 2GA Talon. That one's also a 2GA Talon, but basically it had like shorter side skirts, lamer bumpers, lamer headlights, yada yada yada. But I swapped this, so headlights, bumper, side skirts, rear bumper. This one I didn't go with the high rise. I have the Duck Hunters duckbill on it. I actually really like this piece. It complements the body pretty well. As far as exhaust, this one's a 3-inch straight pipe with just a 12-inch vibrant resonator. And this one's a 3-inch straight pipe, obviously straight out the bumper. Archer Fabrications did mine on this. They both run VRSF short route front mount intercoolers. This one's got a stock hood. This has a Carbonetics hood. It has Carbonetics AR wide body, so ARWB fenders. I didn't get the hybrid. I did wrap the vents in carbon. This is also the Carbonetics flares. The interior is kind of a mix of both. So this was more of an OEM plus build. So this was I'm actually just about to own this car for 3 years and just about to own this one for 10. So basically I took like essentially 7-8 years of R&D into this and put it into this in 1 year and built this one right till it like got crashed and stuff. But so this was pretty much my OEM plus build. So I got like eBay, like Subaru STI side skirts on it. They both rock the same eBay front lip. I used to have the canards for my boy Mike on this one, which I didn't put them on the new bumper. I still have the bumper with them. Then he also made me these block off plates for this one. I don't know what look I like more. The canards is hit or miss. You love them or you hate them. I think everybody can kind of respect the block off plates. But so interior on this, I swapped all of it to a black except for the dash. I ended up not having enough time to do it. Got the carbon fiber center console stuff. There are 3 glow shift gauges for my boost, oil pressure, water temp. Then I got the AM X series wideband. I usually run my tablet in here. I like the cloth seats way better than the leather on these cars, but besides that, yeah, most of it's black. I did the headliner in this one. This car, I did the headliner, the door panels, and the center console. So this one's got the camo stuff. Also sunroof car, slick top car. This just has some random seats. I've gone through like 5 sets of seats in this thing. I'm gonna get some Evo Recaro Evos, or sorry, Sparco Evos for it soon. Black dash, quick release, glow shift. It's got an old AM one. I got my new pod mount. I'm gonna redo a lot of stuff on this car pretty much. As far as the motor setup, I'm gonna get my super expensive hood prop. Just got these Aero Catch hood pins set up, which I'm super stoked on. I've had them forever, I just never did them. But little sketchy cutting in the carbon fiber, but it is what it is. So this setup is actually technically more basic than that one. I guess let me pop this hood real quick too, and then I'll show you guys the overall goal for these things as well. This one's still got a hood prop and everything. We got 2 dirty ass intake filters. All right, so the GST. So this one's stock motor. I'm about to hit 200K in it. It just has cams, comp 101 200. They're essentially like a 260. It's got Archer fabs, all basically piping besides the short route intercooler, tile blow off valve on both cars. It's just a billet wheel GT35R, like a kind of a modern one. It's still journal bearing, tile external wastegate. I always forget, I want to call this one the MVR is the V-band, and then the MVS is the 2-bolt. Could be backwards, I forget. But yeah, stock motor, 200K, 19 pounds of boost. This thing makes about 400 front wheel horsepower. And this one is actually a built motor. It's got Ross pistons, Eagle rods, built head, GST S2 cams, GSC S2 cams. So this one's got 274, so way bigger cams, and it's an old school FP red, so it's pretty much an old school GT35R wheel. It's a cast wheel, it's heavy, and definitely doesn't flow as much as something like that. So this car is actually on about 36 pounds of boost. Both are on pump gas. Both are run on DSM link and speed density. You see the IAT. I just ended up replacing this last build. This one's on a first, like essentially a 1G style GM i8 or map sensor. This one I ended up getting a 2G, so they're both on 4 bars. Still stock battery location on this one, kind of ghetto Mishimoto Amazon special catch can. This one's actually the same catch can, but instead of just using the stock ports, I have Mr. Boost Tony. He makes these vented caps. This is kind of like a first gen style one. So both of them are technically sealed setups. Well, actually this one's vented, this one's sealed. Tile blow off valve, VRSF. This one's got just actually this is the original radiator that I bought this car with. This one has a half-ass tucked MK3 Sirocco radiator. Both cars got power steering because I just added that one. FP cast manifold. So basically this one looks stock and is fast. This one looks crazy. We'll call it slow. They're both also got Fuel Lab fuel pressure regulators. Same with, actually I'm running the stock fuel filter on the GSX. This one has a Fuel Lab, the 8181. So I guess back to more cosmetics. The wheels, these are 18 by 10.5 plus 5s squared on a 275 RE71R. These are stock Evo 8 wheels, which I want to say are 18 by 8 plus 38. I could be wrong, but I believe that's what the spec are. These are just on a 235. So the stock Evo wheels fit the chassis pretty dang good. That corner doesn't count. This one's a little better. These ones don't really rub This one's still got stock GSX brakes on it, front and rear. And this is an early 95 chassis. So these rear brakes have vented rotors, which are kind of a pain in the butt to get. And it's actually a 3000 GT pad. So if you ever come across an early 95 and you can't get pads because the parts store gives you the wrong one 3 times in a row, 3000 GT. Those are the rear pads you run for the big vented rear brakes. This one's got Brembos. It has an Evo rear Brembo and a CTSV front. I've got to get those calipers painted. This thing still needs a whole lot of work. So this is the ultimate end goal. Like, I'm keeping this car, I'm gonna sell this one. So pretty much we got to do a clutch in this again, so I love launching. And at that point, what I'm going to do is just swap motors. So this one will have that stock motor with cams. I'm probably going to keep the FP red on it. I'm just going to sell the car. So probably keep this. It's going to still have DSM link, and I will still be I'll just probably run low boost, make it, maybe tune it to like 15-20 pounds when I sell it. So probably make a 350 400 all-wheel car. This one is going to get the built motor. I almost have the whole all-wheel drive swap here sitting in the back. So this one's going to go all-wheel drive, built motor. If I come up on a dog box by the time I do the swap, I'm just going to dog box this car. I would like to make a reliable 500 all-wheel on this. I might go meth because the car's going to be sitting for a lot until I like daily it again. I might go E. I don't know. Realistically, meth sounds more complicated, but like easier to obtain. E doesn't sound complicated, but way harder to maintain and attain. This also has a carbonetics rear diffuser, and I don't know if I said the rear flares were carbonetics or not. Also has the carbonetics airbag delete. I love this thing. The center dash mount is like the Ortiz custom pods. I think you just ship in your stock piece and then he makes them into those. This one's got I relocated the battery to the subframe, cleans it up a little bit, still like yeah, like I said, king of dirty filters. That one's super ugly. This one's pretty much black. This has gone through 10 different renovations slash just random parts. I actually bought parts for this, so this one matches a little more. The valve cover is pretty ugly because it all like disintegrated after a while, but I've got the polished tile Q blow-off valve, and then the polished tile wastegate, polished turbo, stock cast FP big intake, black fuel components, pretty much black and polished for this thing. This, I was doing blue, and then I was doing purple, and then I'm gonna overall do purple. I have a crazy engine bay color that I want to do, and then I'm gonna get new brackets to clean everything up, blah 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 blah. So yeah, this thing's kind of a work in progress for sure. But like I said, built motor, which is that one, probably just make it easy 500. So this actually makes about 500 right now. This makes about 400. Definitely think this would smoke that in a race. They're both on pump. This one's running 0 fucking timing. I got 7 degrees of peak timing here. I think I'm at 12 degrees of peak timing on here. 19 pounds, 36 pounds. But pretty much this turbo setup on this motor is going to be super gangster. Super excited for that. So, and then the cams are going to sound insane coming through the side exit. Also, ultimately, I want to compound turbo this car. I don't know how far down the road that is. I don't really care about how efficient or whatever it's going to be. It's just something really cool that I want to do. I would like to do a half cage in here too. This one's all gutted in the back. It's got a harness bar. They both have just eBay strut mounts. Super solid. I should actually probably switch those because this one's purple, that one's blue. Super solid mod for our cars. They're like 40-50 bucks. I got transfer case, transmission. This is all all-wheel drive stuff. But yeah, just the DNA motors, man. Those strut bars do wonders for our chassis. Yeah, I don't really know. Oh, I guess ultimate end goal, I was speaking with that. This one's pretty much just gonna go back to stock, and then yeah, I'm gonna sell it. I'm gonna sell it for cheap because I don't like the bodywork. Otherwise, I probably would have actually ended up keeping the car. But also trying to build 2 DSMs, not the smartest thing. And I'm working on a new chassis that pretty much can't wait to get down on. But anyways, so yeah, those are kind of comparing these 2 cars in general. Now, as a consumer, if you're looking at buying a DSM, you want to get into one, GST or GSX, or Talon, basically all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive, auto or manual. I say benefits to a GST. Once you start making power, Pro definitely brakes less. This was my first car. I've literally only drive it and beat the crap out of it, and it has pretty much never actually failed on me. This one, probably my fault due to launching. I've killed 2 clutches in this already. It actually really has been problematic. Oh, I've killed 2 transmissions too. Also probably driver error. It's me just slamming 3rd gear on them. But I definitely say if you want a 400 horsepower car, I mean even 500, I would say front wheel. So traction issues suck, but again, it brakes way less. This car's almost boring to drive at 500, and this car's literally a roller coaster at 400. Like a lot, like Ricky and all these guys are all like, your car's like a death trap. You feel like you're gonna die. It's crazy, blah blah. And it's just the fun of front wheel drive. I mean, you're spinning, torque steer, pulling all over crazy. They both do pretty great on fuel. GST definitely wins. I mean, I drove this thing from Phoenix to Vegas on 3/4 of a tank. So like they both technically do over 30 miles per gallon as long as you keep your foot out of throttle with a big turbo. So big turbo, both of these. This one spools at about 5K, and it's actually technically smaller than this. This one spools at about 45. Modern technology, old technology. But that 4K plus power band keeps you out of it. So it's kind of like driving a stock 4-cylinder on the highway. It can get lame on big hills and stuff. You kind of maybe have to downshift because you don't want to run high load, low RPM stuff. So I think as a daily, I would pick a GST. Is making power, this is where it gets iffy. So the all-wheel drive transmissions, they're harder and harder to come by. It took me almost a year to find one, which thankfully I got from my buddy. 4th gear was a little messed up, but I was down with it. It's really not bad at all. You just got to shift slow into it. But after that 400 wheel realm, it's kind of like we don't win as an all-wheel drive DSM. You're essentially, anything built is just stock Evo, which is technically rated for 500, but you still can break it pretty easy. So you're either stock transmission or dog box. A dog box is 7K if you're lucky, right? Or you can get really lucky and pick up a used one that hopefully works for like 5. Then if you go auto, this is going to be a built auto car. Built auto cars, I mean, a torque converter and a shift kit, and you can pretty much make like consistently launch these cars at like 800. So if you go all-wheel drive, I would suggest building an auto. People are like, oh, automatic lame, whatever. Sure, but like with the shift kits is pretty cool. Like you can wire in a shift kit. Like say you attach like a Evo 10 steering wheel with paddles, you could wire in the paddles, so you can pretty much make these things like a paddle shift car. Modern technology, old school stuff, pretty sweet. But yeah, so better MPG, more reliable, around 400. The cool thing about the all-wheel drive cars is that they hook. Like I said, this one's almost lame to drive at 500 because it'll spin in the rain in like second, but besides that, it hooks. This thing on a nice day will hook 3rd with these tires. They're kind of big, so I guess there is that. It's also still an open diff car, so a LSD would definitely probably help a lot with the GST stuff. But when I had the GST, I always wished I had a GSX. I feel like, and not hating on nobody, but I feel like in a tier of a realm of cars, this being front wheel drive, I feel like I was always compared to like Hondas, and this being all wheel drive always was kind of like the Evo class. So that's not a shot at the Honda guys. Hondas are super sick. A lot of people make power now, and I actually really enjoy them, but the Honda guys are the all motor VTEC B16. They make 150 horsepower, and then they're racers, and they just like that's the class that this goes in when someone asks, is this all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive? This one being all-wheel drive, you pretty much just call it a two-door Evo. So yeah, both are pretty much street builds, same clutch, just all-wheel drive, front-wheel drive. They're the comp stage 3.5s. They have, neither of them have slipped. This one I think has been in my car for 5 years now. This one I installed like a year ago. I don't even know. But again, I'm the one that has killed this clutch. It hasn't actually failed. I'm just starting to lose pedal on it, which I think might have to do with the flywheel that I run on the car. So as far as sounds, I really like the way the blast pipes sound. A full exhaust. This one's like just a really good tone. I think if you're wanting to go side exit or hood exit, the thing to consider about this, so highway driving with this, basically I would recommend putting, if you're gonna go bumper exit, try to go out your passenger side. Thing is, with the windows up, you can barely hear this, and because it doesn't run the chassis, there's no drone, so it's not bad. It definitely is way healthier for the turbo, makes it breathe a lot better. Front flames are cool. This technically can be dangerous, right? If I blow something and blow oil or water under my tire, might not be sick. This one drones a little bit, but the blast pipes sound so good on the car. It's just like this really deep, like, it's just a really good pitch. The lame thing about the short front side exhaust, you don't, so this has a T51R mod, so it's super surgy. The battery died on the GoPro, probably because this is way too long of a talking video. Sorry about that. Back to where I was. Turbo sounds. So T51R mod on this thing, so it literally sounds like a jet. Super cool. With the side exit, it drones it out from the exterior. I can hear it, I say, about halfway through the interior. Like if I roll up my windows and pop my sunroof, I hear it really good. But that being said, this has a wastegate dump and just goes straight down there. This one also does. You can't even really hear the wastegate change on this because it's all just droned out by one noise. So it also drones out the surge and it drones out the blow-off valve noise. So you get cool spoolie turbo noises, but under throttle it's just loud. Having a full exhaust gives you both, right? From the backside you hear it pretty good. This isn't the most spoolie car due to the cast manifold. The tubular manifolds definitely give you a lot more spoolie noise. The cast one dampens it pretty well. So this one, you just hear one, and then you hear the wastegate brake open. You hear some blow-off valve noises. So this one's got kind of all around the noises. The hood dampens it. This hood definitely made the blow-off valve pretty loud before the side exit and stuff too. So there's pros and cons to both sound good. I kind of wish I could hear more turbo stuff with this, but also the bumper exit's super sick and the cams sound really good through just the side exit. So it really just depends. Also kind of depends more on the daily aspect. I mean, my neighbors have always both hated both cars. Like, they get mad about warm-ups. This one definitely is a little louder. This one you can kind of point the exhaust into a different direction. As far as on the road, haven't really been harassed in either car. Yes, I actually got harassed in this one way back in the day when it was way more stock. I think it's kind of a pro driving with Alaska plates out of state because it's more paperwork, so cops really don't care unless like you're really being ignorant. But as far as just being a modified car, they usually leave me alone, so that's pretty cool. I also got a billet. So I got a carbon fiber roof coming for this. Well, I have it, I just haven't installed it. Carbon fiber roof for this, and I've got a billet valve cover. So like when I do the built motor, basically this is gonna get all the super nice stuff. And I'm gonna go twin disc. Like I said, I would like to just go with a dog box if I come across one at the time. Just because the transmission issues I have with that, which again haven't even really been transmission failures. I broke 2 like shift forks from just slamming third too hard, and the gears have all lasted. So I technically have like 3 all-wheel drive transmissions. One's got a sketchy fourth, which is in the car. 2 of them just have broken shift, not even forks, I'd say gear selectors. Basically, your little shifter part right here, which this one's hidden, this one's 6-pole swap. The water pipe's kind of weird. This piece right here, inside there's like these 3 little rods that like grab your shift gates, to like grab your forks and stuff, and I've snapped the middle one on both transmissions, so I just gotta replace that, put it back together. I also technically have like an Evo 3 gear swap transmission that's in pieces that I need to put back together, so I guess I have 4 all-wheel drive transmissions. But I do have an extra T case for this, so yeah, like I said, I think the only thing I'm really lacking on this car at this moment for the swap is an all-wheel drive fuel tank. But I also technically found one too. So it's just a matter of time, essentially, with this thing. But yeah, so I pretty much just rambled. Probably didn't even tell you which car is better or worse. I guess ultimately they both have their pros and cons. Like I said, I always wished I had an all-wheel drive car. I am swapping this to all-wheel drive. So I think if you're gonna spend the money, I would probably, like, if you want a long-term DSM, I would just go for an all-wheel drive car. If you want to make a lot of power, go for an all-wheel drive auto. If you just want to have like a super fun street car, go with the GST. Like, so this Galant, for example, is a 4G64 NA block, so pretty much the stock bottom end that come in these grandma cars, and we just slapped a Evo head on it and like a HY35, like, so just big turbo stock motor, and this thing gets down. It's so much fun. It's actually really fun racing with the GST. But it's one of those sleeper cars that you just like look, it looks like an Evo swap, right? So it's just stock trans, stock bottom end, basically slapped a head on it, boosted it, put a big old turb ski on it, and it's super fun. It gets down, something like that. So definitely have more fun daily driving the GST. No traction sucks, but run the right tire, it's pretty good. All-wheel drive car, definitely think if you want a long-term, build a really nice DSM, the all-wheel drive kills it. They're starting at really expensive. There's an all-wheel drive car that we're actually selling, so if you want a chassis to get in, no. But these lips, I like them. This one's hanging off, I need to remount it, but it's like $100 lip off eBay. They're like poly, they do pretty good. I actually had a write-up installing that one on YouTube, one of these videos. But yeah, so like I said, you want to make power, go all-wheel drive auto. You just want a super sick, like, fun weekend fast street car, go with a GSX. You want a super sick daily, go with a GST. So that's my 2 cents on it. As far as the motors, this one's a 6-bolt. It has balance shaft deletes and it vibrates like crazy. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure the 6-bolt early 7-bolts vibrate like crazy on a balance shaft delete. This one has a ghetto balance shaft delete. I literally just not running the belt, which can be pretty sketchy because there's a bearing in there that has like an oil squirter pretty much that's supposed to be pressurized from the balance shaft spinning. But if you don't delete that and turn the bearing to plug the hole, you can technically lose oil pressure, which when this thing gets really hot, my oil pressure gauge will fall to like 0 at idle. It's never ticked. It's been going strong, so it could just be the gauge being a couple PSI off too. But this one just has a ported oil filter housing and a downsized spring, which I also was in one of these videos. This one does really good. My oil pressure, I guess, range on this car is about 15 PSI on idle to about 90 under wide open throttle. This one's anywhere from like 0 to like, 115 PSI under wide open. So this one's a little crazy. That thing has been so reliable for so long for somehow. This one has also been pretty reliable. So really excited for the swap. But I guess, yeah, that's the plans on the car. So this one's probably going to be leaving the channel sooner than later. Probably won't see much more of it. And this one is hopefully making a crazy upgrades here pretty soon. So this thing should get down. And then, yeah, this one's going to be for sale. So I guess I'll stop with the ramble. We might go take both of these cars out, get some pictures with them. Probably gonna wash this thing because it's super gross from the boat. This one's got some bug splatters from the wash too, but yeah, gonna take them out, chooch around, fill them up with gas since they're probably gonna be sitting for a minute, get some content, some new pictures, and then yeah, so thanks for watching, and sorry for rambling for so long, making this a talking video stuff, but peace out and see you next video.